The Olympics have been killing me. I've not been getting on the computer answering your questions as quickly as I'd like, but we're going to jump back in today and start off with a question from June, who says, bless me, thank you. I didn't sneeze, but I appreciate it. And she's trying to get her computer to stop hibernating even when she doesn't want it to. First of all, I'm not a big fan of hibernation or sleep mode and for most computers. Really, it's okay for laptops if you're running around an airport or something like that. But for your home computer, especially if it's a desktop, I recommend going into your screensaver settings, and under your screensaver there's an option that says Power Options, and disable anything that says Sleep or Hibernate. Here's a question from Carl that I used to get quite a bit last year before I changed newsletter companies that sends out our weekly newsletter that's free, by the way. And people were having trouble getting it because it was getting spammed out, and I think that's what's happening in Carl's case. He says he tries to sign up, but it says he's already registered, and his neighbor gets it, but he doesn't. Carl, I'm not sure what to tell you, but that somewhere your spam filters are set where it's catching my newsletter. You can try to talk to your internet provider if it's getting caught at that level, but it is definitely a spam filter. If you're signed up, it is being sent. It's on your end that you're going to need to get that figured out, unfortunately. Jack has a question that I'm not sure is a joke or not, but he says, how do I get the printer-friendly version of the videocast 006? So I'm going to be a little bit funny as well. Open up another window as you're listening or watching the video. Take notes using Microsoft Word or WordPad or whatever you use for your word processor, and then print it out. Here's a long message from Joe. Joe has been infected by an extremely awful spyware / malware called Antivirus XP 2008, which is not a real antivirus product. If you see anything that comes up that looks like his Antivirus XP 2008, you need to run for three products actually. Clean up program. You're going to disconnect from the internet first of all after you get these products. Then you're going to get cleanup from my website at helpmerick.com. You're going to get AVG Antivirus, the new version 8.0 works pretty good, and another one called Super Anti-Spyware, and then you're going to run all of these products in safe mode after you update them. Raymond has a question about the Cygate firewall and accessing his credit card on his online account. Ray, what I'm thinking is happening is your Cygate firewall, and I've not used Cygate firewall for years, but you're going to have to get into the options or the preferences of Cygate and somehow what's called whitelist your credit card company's website. So you're going to find out the credit card company's website is in the address bar. Type that in the preferences under allow all things to happen for that particular site in your firewall, and then you should be okay. You shouldn't have to disable the firewall. Now Cygate is getting pretty dated, and if you've had all the updates of Windows XP and Cygate has not been updated in a long time to my knowledge, you may be having some conflicts there as well. You might need to move to another software firewall like possibly Zone Alarm, or there's one called Tiny Firewall, or if you're using a router for a high-speed internet connection, you probably don't need any extra firewall protection beyond what Windows is providing and your router is providing. Apparently Bruce is trying to send maybe a page or maybe just a link to my website to his friend Maria, and I think Bruce, I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to do based on your email, but all you need to do is just send an email to Maria and tell her to visit helpmerick.com in the body of the email, and that's all you need to do. Hello, Zilla May. Zilla, you missed the tip that we put in the newsletter way back in April and again in June, and I think I put it there again in July, that AVG 8 did get released earlier this spring, probably in April-ish, and I have a tip on the website, AVG, if you just type in helpmerick.com, type in AVG upgrade. That's all you need to do in the helpmerick.com search engine. You will get a step-by-step and a video showing you exactly what to do to get your 7.5 version updated to the new 8.0 version. Tammy is looking for a basic laptop for her mother-in-law so she can do email and download pictures off a digital camera. Sounds like a prime person to be using a Linux computer. And for those folks that are just doing email, digital photography, and maybe some internet, and not have to have the complexity and the security problems associated with Windows, I highly recommend a Linux computer. And you can do that, Tammy, by buying the cheapest laptop you can find, and then take off the Windows and put on a Linux version like Ubuntu, or one of my favorites, it's just now starting to get more and more mature, called GOS. GOS can be found at think-, gos.com. If you just search for GOS on my website, you'll find that. In fact, I put a video up on that last week. As far as the brands Acer and Asus, they are both good brands. They both have tech support. Acer actually bought Gateway a few years ago, and it's now a combination of Gateway and Acer. Roger is trying to install his WordPerfect 7 after having a meltdown apparently on his Windows XP machine, but he's getting a message saying that his desktop application director, also known as DAD, is running in the background and cannot install the rest of WordPerfect. So what you can do to get rid of DAD, Roger, is do one of two things. Go to Add and Remove Programs and look for the desktop application director. You'll see it listed there, and remove it. Or click Start and Run, and then msconfig, Microsoft Configuration Utility, msconfig. And you will find the desktop application director listed in the startup. Uncheck it, click OK, restart your computer, and then it shouldn't be running in the background, and you should be able to install your WordPerfect. Beverly has a question about printing recipes, maybe news items, things like that, off the web without getting the right side cut off. And she's wondering where that's found on my website. Actually, Beverly, that's now been built into all web browsers. If you've been using Firefox, as I've been recommending for years, Firefox has always shrunk the page so that it fits on a piece of paper when you print it. Internet Explorer 7 now offers finally that same feature. In regards to recipes, all of the food-related, recipe-related websites that I visit on the web have a little print-friendly option. If you click where it says print on 4x6 or printer-friendly or print version of this recipe, it will automatically format the page so it fits on a piece of paper even if you're using an older browser. Terry here says he recently upgraded from Windows 98 to Windows XP. Welcome to Windows XP. And he's using it on a refurbished compact, and he's using Firefox and Thunderbird. Good for you. But he can't use My Excite on Firefox. My best thing I can tell you to probably do is either use Internet Explorer for that site only, or migrate the data and the information you had on My Excite to either Yahoo or a Google customized homepage, and then you should be in good shape. Tom writes in that he has some Windows updates and he can't get them all to install. In fact, he has 9 files in his Windows updates that won't install properly. One way to try to do that is to use the cleanup program on our website at helpmerick.com. Go to Links and Resources, download the cleanup utility, use that and delete all of your temporary files. Then go back and download and manually install your updates through the Windows Update website. You have to use Internet Explorer for that, and update them one at a time. Go through and get all of the essential updates, do them one at a time, uncheck all the ones that you don't need, and figure out which one is the one that's causing the problem. Get back to me and we'll figure out how to get that one installed. Let's finish off with this question from John in Pennsylvania. John says, I used to be able to move my favorites around within the favorites list in Internet Explorer 7 by the click and drag method. He can't get that to work lately, and he's wondering if Service Pack 3, which he installed recently, has caused the problem. John, I haven't seen that happen with Service Pack 3. You can always go into Favorites, Organize Favorites, and move your favorites around that way. I know it's more convenient to do it in the list of favorites, but you can try that as well. The one other thing that Internet Explorer 7 does have going for it is that you can go to Tools and Options, go to the Advanced tab, and click Reset. There's a reset button there, and if any of the settings got mumble-jumbled in the Service Pack 3 update or maybe some other update, that should reset it and get all the functionality back that you had before the Service Pack 3. So thanks again for joining us today on Rick Answers His Email. If you have a question about your computer, feel free to send it at helpmerick.com.